Hello and welcome back to the Hazzabhajan YouTube channel. It is Harry here, and today it is time to take a deep dive into the world of squad numbers, or more specifically, ones that are no longer in use. There are quite a few ways for a club to consider it worthwhile to retire a squad number once worn by a particular individual, ranging from celebrating someone's contribution to a club to remembering the number of a player who sadly passed away whilst on their books. They could also put a number out of use in honour of the fans, especially the number 12, given that fans are often considered as the 12th man, but I haven't included such instances in this video, although for the record, those teams are Bristol Rovers, Exeter, Gillingham, Oldham, Oxford, Plymouth, Portsmouth and Reading, with the latter retiring the number 13 instead of number 12. Barring those cases, as well as mascot numbers like Filbert Fox wearing 50 at Leicester, I will be profiling every single squad number which has been retired by a team currently competing in either the Premier League, the Championship, League One or League Two, more commonly known of course as the English Football League, as well as those that were retired but have since been retracted to allow other players to use them. And whilst this video may seem a bit morbid as a result of some of the inclusions, I also think it is quite interesting, hence why I've decided to make a video about it. Without any further ado, here is every single retired squad number in the English Football League. Accrington Stanley, number 29 in honour of Billy Key. Former Northern Ireland international Billy Key first played for Accrington Stanley between 2009 and 2010 on loan from Leicester City, but in 2015 he would sign for them on a permanent basis. He would go on to score 74 goals in 198 games for the Lancashire-based side, including 25 in League Two in 2017-18 as Stanley won promotion to League One for the first time since their reformation in 1968. Behind the scenes though, Key was struggling with various mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, as well as bulimia, and after taking half a season off to recover, Key mutually agreed to terminate his contract in January 2020, retiring from professional football a couple of weeks later. In honour of his achievements with the club, Stanley retired his squad number of 29 permanently, and thankfully, playing non-league football alongside working as a bricklayer, Key has stated that he feels a lot better about himself and his future, and of course, I wish him nothing but happiness and good health. Birmingham City, number 22 in honour of Jude Bellingham. The most recent retirement in this entire video, it's also the one which attracted the most social media mockery and ridicule upon it being announced. Jude Bellingham became Birmingham's youngest ever player when he started an EFL Cup first round game for them against Portsmouth at the age of just 16 years and 38 days in August 2019, and he would go on to make 41 appearances in the Championship that season, attracting interest from Europe's elite with his eye-catching displays in midfield and winning the Championship Young Player of the Year award. It would be Borussia Dortmund who bought him for £25 million in the summer of 2020, and in order to, in Birmingham's own words, remember one of our own and inspire others, close quotes, they retired the number 22 that he wore during his sole professional season at the club. In my opinion, it's ridiculous, because Bellingham didn't inspire the club to a trophy or even promotion in his only season with the first team. He just helped them stave off relegation to League One and only played 44 times for them. And surely if you want to inspire others, as the club so correctly says, then you would want them to wear Bellingham's number 22 so that they can follow in his footsteps to go on and achieve bigger and better things. And also, whilst I am aware that he has undoubtedly a talent and maybe could be starting for England at the Euros, did he really do anything besides making the club a lot of money to make the decision acceptable? Not really. Manchester City, number 23 in honour of Marc-Vivien Foé. Marc-Vivien Foé was an all-action midfielder who played for the likes of Lens, Lyon and West Ham in a successful career that also saw him win 62 caps for Cameroon and play in 6 World Cup games in 1994 and 2002. Foy joined Manchester City on loan from Lyon for the 2002-03 campaign, and he impressed at Main Road, helping the club finish 9th that season and scoring the final ever goal by a Man City player at the venerable ground. Tragically, just as City were considering making the move a permanent one, Foy collapsed in the centre circle whilst playing for Cameroon in their 2003 Confederations Cup semi-final win against Colombia, suffering from a heart attack brought on by hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, known to increase heart failure during exercise, and he died not long after arriving at the ground's medical centre. After the final, which neither France nor Cameroon wanted to play but ended up doing so, both of their captains, Marcel Desailly and Rigobert Song respectively, lifted the trophy together in honour of Foé, and Lyon, Lens and Manchester City all retired the number Foé wore whilst with them, which was 17 in Lens and Lyon's case, although the latter club reversed the decision in 2008, and 23 for Manchester City. Queen's Park Rangers, number 31 in honour of Ray Jones. A striker who was compared to Wayne Rooney owing to his footballing brain, speed and strength, Ray Jones made a good impression in what would sadly prove to be his only campaign with the Hoops, hitting 5 goals in 31 games as an 18-year-old and being earmarked as a symbol of the club's future. However, on the 25th of August 2007, just 23 days after getting his driving licence, he sped over a pedestrian crossing on the wrong side of the road and was involved in a head-on collision that saw him, and the 2 other passengers in the car with him, lose their lives. QPR immediately took the decision to retire the number 31 in his honour, and a minute's applause was held in his memory during the England Under-19 friendly against Belarus, which took place 2 weeks after Jones's death. Rochdale, number 55 in honour of Joshua McCormack. This is a unique case in this list, as it doesn't concern a player, but instead it is in honour of a young fan who was named in Rochdale's squad for 1 game as a special gesture. Joshua McCormack was a child who was a fervent supporter of Rochdale but was also battling cancer, and for a game against Hartlepool in November 2016, he led the club out onto the pitch wearing the number 55, but tragically, within 2 months, he had lost his battle at the age of just 5. Although it may be unlikely that many people would have worn the number 55 shirt at Rochdale, they nonetheless made the phenomenal gesture to disallow anyone else at the club from wearing it again, in recognition of McCormack's brave fight with cancer and close ties to Rochdale. West Ham, number 6 and number 38 in honour of Bobby Moore and Dylan Tombides. Bobby Moore is not only a West Ham icon, but also an England icon, given that he was the captain who lifted England's only World Cup trophy in 1966, making 105 appearances for the Three Lions, 90 of which were as captain, and playing in 644 games for West Ham, the 3rd most in the club's history. An elegant ball-playing centre-back who was described by Pelé as the greatest defender he ever faced, Moore was troubled by cancer throughout his life, even receiving a diagnosis of testicular cancer in 1964, just 2 years before that World Cup win. But in February 1993, he received a diagnosis of bowel and liver cancer. Yet despite this, he still commentated on an England vs San Marino game at Wembley, showing the resilient character that he always had. He sadly passed away a week later though, being given a public service at Westminster Abbey, only the 2nd sportsman to receive such an honour after West Indian cricketer Sir Frank Worrell, and 15 years after his death, West Ham retired his famous number 6 shirt in his honour. It isn't the only squad number which has been retired by the Hammers, and regrettably, it is another one that was done posthumously in recognition of a player who sadly was only able to play in 1 game for the club. Dylan Tombides was an Australian youth international who played as a striker, making his sole appearance for West Ham in a League Cup game in September 2012, although by that point he had already gone through 1 cancer scare after a random drugs test revealed he had testicular cancer. Throughout 2013, he went through various stages of chemotherapy, yet despite all of this, he still played in the Under-22 Asian Championships for Australia in January 2014, but upon returning home, he was told that the cancer was terminal, and he passed away in April 2014, with West Ham retiring his number 38 squad number from further use. Wycombe Wanderers, number 14 in honour of Mark Philo. Mark Philo had gone through the youth academies of West Ham and Crystal Palace before joining Wycombe as a 15-year-old in 1999, and he made his senior debut for the club 4 years later, although 2 separate broken ankles meant that he only played in 17 games in 3 years for the Chairboys. Whilst recovering from the second of those setbacks, he was involved in a car crash with a Renault Megane, whose driver was pronounced dead at the scene, and despite Philo being rushed to hospital, he too would later succumb to his injuries. It was later revealed that he was over the drink-drive limit and on the wrong side of the road when the crash occurred, but after the tragic incident, Wycombe decided to retire his number 14 shirt. So those are the retired squad numbers which are still officially recognised by the clubs themselves, and now we move on to cases in which the number is no longer retired but had been before, although a quick mention to Chelsea, who haven't issued the number 25 to anyone since Gianfranco Zola left the club in 2003, but haven't formally announced that it is no longer active. Portsmouth, number 1 and number 13 in honour of Aaron Flahavan. Aaron Flahavan is the 3rd player in this video to have lost his life in a car accident, with his coming in August 2001, the year after he became Portsmouth's first choice goalkeeper, but he was apparently nearly 3 times over the drink-drive limit when he crashed his car. Portsmouth, Flahavan's only professional club, and Southampton, where he had been in the youth academy, both retired their number 1 shirts for the 2001-02 season, and Pompey took the decision to retire the number 13 shirt, which is what the Englishman wore whilst at the club, permanently. In 2011 though, it was allocated to Stephen Henderson upon his arrival at Fratton Park, and it has been in use ever since, currently occupied by defender James Bolton. Exeter City, number 9 in honour of Adam Stansfield. A striker who played for Yeovil, Hereford and Exeter during a 9-year professional career, Adam Stansfield helped Exeter win promotion to League One for the first time in their history in the 2008-09 campaign, and he scored 8 goals up until March 2010, the following season when he was diagnosed with colon cancer. It seemed as though he would recover, even returning to the club for pre-season training in July 2010, but his condition deteriorated and he died the following month, just after Exeter had lost to Ipswich Town in the League Cup. Exeter decided not to give the number 9 shirt to anyone for 9 seasons from the 2011-12 campaign, meaning that it expired at the start of the season that has just concluded, but it will now only be given to homegrown players, although no one has the number bestowed upon them at this moment. Wolves, number 1 in honour of Carl Ikeme. Carl Ikeme spent his entire career contracted to Wolves, although he was sent out on 8 separate loan spells between 2003 and 2012, by which point he was aged 26 and presumably thinking that he wouldn't make the grade at his academy club. However, upon the club's relegation to the Championship in 2012 and injuries to the club's first and second choice goalkeepers, he was given a chance in the first team and seized it with both hands, making 190 appearances in 5 years before he was diagnosed with leukemia in 2017. After 1 year of treatment, he entered remission but was forced to announce his retirement on medical grounds in 2018, and Wolves have left the number 1 shirt vacant since, with the other goalkeepers at the club taking numbers that end in 1, including Rui Patricio, who occupies number 11, which, whilst aesthetically unpleasing to see, does somewhat make sense when context is applied. Leeds United, number 15 and number 17, in honour of, well, you'll see. After a lot of sadness and tragedy throughout this video, it's nice to conclude on a little bit of a lighter note for our final inclusion. Upon Massimo Cellino's takeover of the club in 2014, he immediately requested that Leeds no longer apply the number 17 to any of their players, as he believes in the Italian superstition of 17 being a cursed number, owing to its Roman numerals being an anagram of Vici, translated into English as I have lived. However, when he left the club, ironically enough in 2017, that decision was reversed and it is now taken up by Angolan winger Helder Costa. They also retired the number 15 squad number in 2007-08 in recognition of the fact that they had been deducted 15 points for their upcoming season in League One owing to financial irregularities, which I can't quite work out if it's a swipe at the Football League or at themselves. Knowing Leeds, it's probably a mixture of both. And that just about wraps up today's video, looking at every single squad number that has or had been retired in the English Football League. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done so already, and you can ring the little notification bell to get notified when I upload a video straight away. And if you want me to expand this out to Europe's top 5 leagues or just to various other places, please do let me know and I'll do my best to make that happen. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you then.